Namaste. Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's practice, you'll want to have a plethora of props. As you see behind me, 2 blocks, a strap, a bolster, a blanket. And physically, we're going to focus on a number of things, while of course we take into account the whole body, mind, everything. So find any comfortable way to sit, maybe propped up on one of your props so that you can lengthen your spine and relax the hips. So physically our focus, heart opening, bringing the shoulders into extension. We had some requests for releasing tension in the lower back, especially caused by pinched sciatic nerve. So we'll go into that as well. Our meditation today will be a combination of an extended Shavasana for deep relaxation with sound meditation as we listen to the different singing bowls, and then sitting in calm abiding meditation, which I'm going to read an excerpt about from The Relaxed Mind, a 7-step method for deepening meditation practice by Zakilung Rinpoche. So while this excerpt explains how to practice calm, abiding meditation, I invite you to notice how you can apply this into the physical yoga as well. The whole idea of relaxing into focus. We begin by making a gentle effort to lure the mind away from thoughts by bringing it back over and over to our object. We make that connection and keep it. See how long we can be in that undistracted state. Once we are into it, flowing, there is no need to stop. The very feeling of calm and relaxation we experience then becomes our object. We need to experience the feeling of resting, the state of resting. When we allow ourselves to feel that resting nature with mind, inspiration, and the whole body, everything relaxed, there arises a special kind of attention that is very different from what we are used to. Our main aspiration is to be resting rather than following the perfectionistic habits of daily life that cause us to judge each thought that arises. We need a 360-degree view, freely open, enjoying, observing, and being a witness to that relaxation. That is meditation. Sitting here now, let's begin by checking in with ourselves. What are we bringing into our practice today? Noticing your physical sensations as you mentally scan all throughout your body. Noticing when the judgment mind begins to evaluate things as good or bad. And as soon as you notice, you have the opportunity to let go of it and simply witness. Now notice the quality of your natural breath without changing your breathing. Sensing the pace, the depth, any qualities of the breath. Tuning into how you're feeling right now energetically. You now observe your mind, the state of your mind. Notice any emotions you're experiencing right now. Just like you witness practicing non-judging here in the beginning, I invite you to bring that practice as we move through the asanas very soon. Let's start to deepen the breath, filling up through the nostrils, noticing where you expand the most in the body, and then opening the mouth, finding empty. Then inhaling a little bit deeper, not straining the breath. And exhaling a little slower again through the mouth. Breathing in to the very top, inviting the four walls of your rib cage to expand. Taking your time to release any last bit of air from your lungs. What is something right now that you feel gratitude for? Letting that awaken the energy of your heart. And now clarify, what are you letting go or releasing as we're 2 days until the next full moon and a lunar eclipse. And by releasing that, what are you creating space for? What are you inviting in and welcoming in any aspect of your life? And then call to mind someone or something that you would like to extend loving kindness to by dedicating your practice today to them. And together, let's join our voices to create resonance in support of each other, chanting the sacred sound of Om 3 times. With lips closed, begin to lengthen your inhalation very slowly, matching the length with your exhalation, creating a gentle whispering sound by softly constricting the back of the throat, beginning a practice called Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. This is a way to help keep your mind focused, your body relaxed, and your energy balanced as we begin our asanas. So listening to a gently audible rhythm you're creating in the breath, allow your mind to rest on that as your object of focus, just like I read in The Relaxed Mind. So as you listen to your breathing, please start to make your way into downward facing dog, spreading the fingers wide at the top of your mat, lifting your hips high, drawing them back, and allowing a few deep breaths to move your body any way it needs to loosen up. If you need to loosen up the backs of your legs, you might pedal your feet in place to the breath. Loosening up the lower back a little more and the outer hips. You might also swivel your hips left and right. Loosening up the neck and the jaw, you might shake and nod your head, flutter the lips and stretch the mouth. As you spread your fingers flat, wrap your outer upper arms downward towards the mat and lift the shoulder blades onto your back ribs. Free up your neck and just drop your skull, let it hang loose. Setting your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other, lift your hips as high as you can, pressing your chest towards your shins, engage your abdomen towards your back, and firm the fronts of your thigh bones back, sinking the heels deeper and deeper towards the ground. You could keep the knees bent. Now let your eyes rest on one focal point towards your feet and tune into 3 more deep breaths as we stay a little longer to warm up the shoulders. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee and turn out your right thigh bone at the hip. Inhaling, tack the left outer hip back. Then exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose and set the foot beside your right thumb. Stay on your fingertips, hands on blocks or the floor. Come up into a high lunge, dragging energetically your feet towards each other. So they're not visibly moving, but you're creating this energetic action to square the hips forward and feel stable. Raise the right arm to the sky. Keep the hips leveled and breathe in to stretch your spine further forward. Glide the shoulder blades down the back. Hug your hips still and exhale, rotate your chest to the right, entering a spinal twist. We're here for 4 more deep breaths. As you breathe in, continue to press your inner left heel towards the back wall while growing your spine forward. As you exhale, continue to firm your hips still and spiral your right ribs towards the sky, your left ribs towards the right wall. Steadying your gaze on one spot, listen to 3 more cycles of breath. On an exhale, step back to plank pose, top of a push-up. Pausing in plank with shoulders over wrists, gaze on the ground just ahead of the thumbs. Lift the sides of the belly, rotate the triceps towards the rear wall. And then exhale, lower the knees. All 4s, breathe in, coil your chest up to cow pose, look up. Breathe out, contract your belly, drop the head and round. Twice more, follow your breath. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, broaden your chest upwards. Exhale, lift your navel and dome your spine. One more Betalasana. At the end of the next exhalation, tucking your toes, lift your hips high and back into downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the knee, rotate the thigh, open at the hip. Staying here, inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Exhale, softly step the foot beside your left thumb. Stay high in the ball of the right foot. Come up onto fingertips. Feel free to place blocks under your hands. Level out your hips and imagine you're dragging your feet towards each other without visibly moving them. As you breathe in, lengthen your spine forward. Keep your hips still, raising the left arm. Exhale, twist to your left, turning the rib cage. Inhale, press your inner right heel towards the back wall and lengthen the top of your head towards the front wall. Keep your hips still and exhale, continue to spin your left ribs towards the sky, your right ribs towards the left wall, tuning into 3 more slow and steady breaths. In this version of Parita Parsvakonasana extended, twisting side angle pose. On an exhalation, step back to plank pose. Top of a push-up with legs straight or knees on the ground. Pause here. Lengthen your neck, lift the sides of the belly. On an exhale, lower your knees. Then lower your chest. Hug the elbows to the ribs. Then lower your chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward onto the ground into a gentle cobra pose, rolling the shoulders back. Engage your abdomen and exhale, press up to plank pose. Then lift the hips to downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look beyond your hands and empty your breath. Then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Press your hands on your blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, fold. Root down to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward. Rising up to Urdhva Hastasana, create a gentle back bend. Exhale, trace your palms in prayer from your crown to your heart center, remembering your intention for today's practice. Listening to your breath, cultivating calm and focus. Let's offer gratitude to the sun, empowering us all with such a great source of energy. Sun salutation A. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. Roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Press your fingertips on your blocks or the ground. Inhale, lengthen halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. Step into your version of plank and exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, or glide forward and graze the elbows through your ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Choose to enter cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here, tune into 2 deep breaths. When you've emptied the second exhalation, walk or float to the front of your mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rising all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bring the hands together at the heart. One more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Step to plank or float to Chaturanga. Take your own version of vinyasa at your pace of breath. This time in downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose and rounding forward in plank, softly step the foot directly between the hands. Spin the left heel down, align right heel to arch of left foot. Then inhale to windmill your arms apart into Warrior Two. Right away, steady your gaze gently on one spot. Just past the right fingertips. Bending your right knee just above the ankle. From the outer edge of your left foot into the ground. Rotate your right outer hip beneath you, splaying your right knee open towards your right pinky toe, while firming the top of your left thigh bone back. With shoulders relaxing downward, lift through the back of your skull, Virabhadrasana 2. Let's bring the left shoulder into extension by wrapping the left arm behind your back. Some of you might be able to reach hold of the top of your right thigh. Keep the right knee bending forward, and from the right shoulder, flip the right palm to face up for Peaceful Warrior. Inhale as you lift your spine, then side bend towards your rear wall. On an exhale, windmill your hands to the floor, continue into a vinyasa or a few rounds of cat-cow. Downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose and softly step the foot right between your hands. Spin the right heel down, align heel to arch. Inhale as you cartwheel the arms into Warrior Two. With your eyes steady, Feel your breath steady and let your body follow suit. Bringing a relaxed quality to your gaze, your breathing, your body. Let your mind follow suit. Bending the left knee just above the heel, from the outer edge of the right foot into the earth. Wrapping the left sitting bone beneath you to splay the knee open towards your left pinky toe from the top of your right thigh bone back. Then relaxing the shoulders down, broadening your chest and wide across the arms. Virabhadrasana 2. Let's bring the right shoulder into extension, wrapping the right arm behind your back, maybe catching hold of the top of the left thigh. Rotate from the left shoulder and flip the left palm to face up. Breathe in, lengthen your spine, then side bend towards your rear wall. Peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise up and cartwheel your hands to the floor. Vinyasa or not, let's meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Step the foot gently beside right thumb. Spin the left heel down for warrior one. Inhale to rise up. Bring your hands to your hips for a moment and press your outer left heel deeply into the earth as you straighten your left leg entirely. While doing that, bend your right knee directly above your right ankle. Now with your hands, square your hips so your frontal hip bones equally face your front wall. And slightly lift your frontal hip bones, allowing your tailbone to lengthen further downward. Then imagine breathing up your spine as you lengthen it, relaxing the shoulders. Raise the arms for just a breath. Keep your legs in warrior one and backstroke your arms to bring both shoulders into extension, clasping the hands behind your back. Now, if your hands don't comfortably reach, you could also grab your strap and space the hands apart on the strap as you need. Roll your shoulders further down as you inhale to lift your chest up. Now, breath by breath, start to hinge forward from the hips. Try to keep your hips equally facing forward. Use the weight of your back heel to counterbalance your weight shifting forward as you drop your skull completely and relax your neck. How's your breathing here? Stretching your arms further away from your lower back to open the fronts of your shoulders. Slightly bend your elbows and lift your shoulder bones, freeing more space in the neck. Humble warrior, also called devotional warrior. Last 2 breaths. Lower your hands, step directly to downward dog or take another vinyasa, you choose. Downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose. Gently step the foot beside your left thumb and spin your right heel down. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Once again, bring your hands to your hips. Press the outer edge of your right heel into the earth and straighten your right leg entirely. Keep that and bend your left knee directly above your left heel. Now with your hands, direct both frontal hip bones to equally face forward. And if that's just not happening, then consider stepping your feet a little wider apart sideways to allow that. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones, activating your lower abdomen. As you lengthen the tailbone down, imagine breathing into it up the spine. Relaxing the shoulders, raise the arms. Virabhadrasana 1. Now keep the arms in warrior one and backstroke, or keep the legs in warrior one and backstroke the arms. Maybe switch the cross of your thumb and index finger if you're interlacing the fingers, or hold a strap. Inhale, coil your chest up. Breath by breath, begin to bow towards the inside of your front leg, still squaring your hips evenly. As you relax your neck, stretch the arms away from your lower back, bending the elbows slightly, lift the shoulder bones away from your neck, and even let your jaw hang loose. Humble warrior or devotional warrior. Lower back to downward dog, or take one last vinyasa here. Couple deep breaths. Let your body be still as you witness your body, mind, and breath. Turning out your right thigh at the hip, let's prepare for your choice of single or king pigeon. Cross your right shin in front of your pelvis and lower to sit with your left leg straight behind you, tucking the toes. Frame your hips with both hands and lift your pelvis to draw your right outer hip towards the back of your mat, and rotate the left outer hip towards the front until they're equally facing forward. Now, if you find that there's a gap between your right glute and the ground, grab whatever of your props you can comfortably fill that gap with. If you find that your right shin is comfortably paralleling the front edge of the mat, make sure you're flexing your right foot to stabilize your right knee the entire time in this pose. Now for King Pigeon, we practiced this on Thursday night. Backstroke the left arm and bend the left knee to catch hold of the left ankle or foot. You could also raise the right arm as this turns into more of a back bend. You could bring the top of the foot into the crook of the left elbow and clasp the hands behind the skull in mermaid variation. Or if you're feeling pretty open in the shoulders and the hip flexors, come into King Pigeon by bending both elbows towards the sky, no wider than shoulders width apart, holding your toes with both hands. Now, if you're coming into the single pigeon version, you can stay upright or bow forward, maybe resting on any of your props. So this starts to become more of a yin and restorative posture. You're going to be here for 2 more minutes. start to ease your way back into downward facing dog. As you arrive there, you might raise your right leg towards the sky, give it some movement at the hip. If you're feeling it, if you're feeling energetic, you might flip it over into wild thing. If you normally practice that back bend. Take your time transitioning to the second side of the same pose. From downward facing dog, turn out your left thigh at the hip, bending the left knee, cross the left shin in front of your pelvis, and lower to sit with your right leg straight behind you and the toes tucked. Frame your hips with your hands and lift your pelvis off the floor to help draw your left hip back and rotate your right outer hip forward. Then notice if it's helpful to place a prop under your left glute, helping to keep your hips squared forward. Remember, if your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, flex the left foot, the whole pose to stabilize your knee. So how did you practice this posture on the first side? Without jumping right into the depth of it, ease into exploring what's available on this side in that variation. Check in with your breathing. We're here for 2 more minutes. One more deep breath. Take your time transitioning gently back to downward facing dog one last time. You might choose to raise your left leg and move it around at the hip. Or if you did so on the first side, you might practice wild thing, flipping it over into one more active back bend. Slowly make your way to sit with your legs in front of you. You may want to prop your pelvis up on a blanket or pillow if your back tends to round. Let's prepare for a posture that can help with sciatic nerve tension, releasing that. So it's called half version of cow face pose or Ardha Gomukhasana. Let's begin with the left leg straight. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh as close together as you can. Flex your left foot, and you might opt to place a strap around the ball of the foot as an extension of your arms if you tend to round the back, so that you don't round the back when you bow forward. Otherwise, you can frame your hips with your hands. Ground your two sitting bones and lift up from the bottom of your spine. Open your throat, natural space, and roll the shoulders slightly back and down. Sit tall as you breathe in. Keep your pelvis rooted, and to whatever degree, little by little, hinge forward from the hips with your exhales. We're here for 2 minutes. Witnessing your breathing, what do you notice? One more deep breath here. When you're ready, press down to your pelvis, lead with your chest, and inhale to slowly rise. Stretch both legs out in front of you, relax the feet, maybe circle them out, and just pause for a moment. Observe your body. Now let's cross the left thigh over the right as close together as you can hug the thighs. Flex your right foot, option to place the strap around the ball of the foot to help relieve your shoulders. Ground your sitting bones, lengthen the spine as you breathe in. Keep the throat open, keep the shoulders down the back, and then lengthen the spine as you're hinging forward from the hips, breath by breath, for another 2 minutes. One more deep breath here. Press down to your sitting bones. Lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise. Let's come on down to our backs for a supine spinal twist. You may want to grab a couple of blocks or a long pillow that we're going to use as a hip spacer, a spacer between the legs. If 2 blocks, you can place 1 block between your ankles and 1 block between your knees and thighs like this, adjusting the width of the block that you're hugging so that your knees and your ankles are the distance of your hips width apart. Otherwise, you can hug 1 long pillow between both. Oops, drop my microphone. Like this. So with knees bent, place your feet on the floor, pick up your pelvis and slide it over towards the right edge of your mat. Open your right arm out to the right on the floor, ground your right shoulder. You can also stretch your neck by gazing past the right shoulder. Then lift your feet and begin to drop your knees to the left. Now, you can also use your leftover props that you're not using now to catch your outer left leg, so you're not having to hold the legs up in the air if they don't fall over completely without lifting the right shoulder. So you want to go only as far as that right shoulder stays on the ground. If you're needing a deeper release for your lower back, place your left hand on your right outer hip. And as you exhale, slowly press away your right outer hip so that it gently tilts towards the front edge of your mat. You might imagine, if you're feeling stuckness in your lower back, you might imagine breathing into your lower spine, creating a little more space between each vertebra there in the lumbar spine, the sacral area. And then as you breathe out, continuing to draw the right outer hip forward for about 9 more slower exhalations than inhalations. And lengthening the out breath to invite more of the energy of releasing, of letting go, as we're honoring the full moon practice a couple days before it. And more of the cool down energy of yin, surrendering. When you're ready, slowly come back to center. Bring the pelvis to the middle of the mat, feet on the ground. Now let's slide the pelvis towards the left edge of the mat. Open the left arm wide. Ground your left shoulder, gaze past it if you did the opposite on the other side, and lift your feet and slowly begin to drop your knees to your right side, maybe catching the outer leg with other props if needed. And if you're seeking a deeper release for the lower back, place your right palm on your left outer hip, and with long exhalations, press away the left outer hip, tilting it gently towards the front edge of your mat. Slowly come back to center, remove the props between your legs, and let's take a moment to set up for Shavasana in a way that we can truly relax a little longer. It's going to be an extended Shavasana because it will include our sound bath, sound meditation. And then I'll invite you to sit for the last 5 minutes in calm, abiding meditation that I read about in The Relaxed Mind. Though calm abiding meditation, as you're setting up for Shavasana, is a practice of choosing something to focus your attention on as a way of concentrating. But the way that you focus your attention is really important. It's about relaxing into focusing, not forcing into focusing. And if your attention wavers and goes somewhere else, rather than being forceful with bringing the attention back, think it more as letting go of where you've been pulled towards, letting go of being hooked and freeing yourself back to relaxing into that simple anchor that you chose as your focus. So as you listen to the sound baths in just a moment, allow the sounds to just come and go, or observe the sounds as they come and go, and practice that non-judging quality where we're not trying to hear a particular sound more, whether it's the singing bowls or something else that you're hearing. We're not trying to push away a sound we don't like or think is unpleasant. It's really a practice of mindfulness where we're observing simply to be present and creating an open awareness of our state. So make any last little adjustments so that you can lie down comfortably for these 10 minutes of Shavasana and sound meditation. As you arrive in a still, comfortable position, I invite you to allow a couple deep cleansing exhales. Imagine you're breathing into your whole body, enlivening all the cells of it with your intention for this practice. And if there was something you had in mind of letting go of in honor of this full moon, you can exhale that with any sound. You could sigh it out, you can howl it out, whatever feels releasing to you. Try that a couple of times. And with each exhale, allow the bones of your body to receive gravity, to just be heavy as the muscles relax around the bones. As you close your eyes, relax your awareness from deeper inward to witness the sounds as they come and go. Witnessing without judging. Let your body rest here a little longer as you keep the eyes closed. Sense how your physical body feels now. You might allow a few deeper breaths to gently begin waking up your body. And then listen to how your body wants to begin moving. Start with small, subtle movements before you ease into stretching. Well, as one movement inspires another, gradually turn over onto your right side, resting your head. Spend a few moments lying on your side, observing your breathing just as it is. And what you notice about the breath, what do you notice about your energy now? Take your time, eventually rising into a comfortable seat. Grounding yourself, maybe on a cushion or directly on the floor. Allowing your spine to feel tall, open, and alert as your whole body relaxes into stillness. Let's continue into a few last minutes of calm, abiding meditation. You might choose to place the right palm face up on top of the left palm face up at the middle of your lap with your thumbs gently touching. You might continue to close your eyes. Otherwise, gently steady a soft gaze just downcast ahead. Choose an object to rest your awareness on. You might choose the breath as you continue to breathe naturally and sense the feeling of the inflow and the outflow at a particular spot in your body. If your attention goes astray from your object, make a gentle effort to lure the mind away from the thoughts and bring it back over and over to the object. After a while, when your attention has steadied on the object, it's the very feeling of calm and relaxation that we now continue witnessing. Sense how your mind and heart feel right now. Notice the effects of your practice. There are moments throughout the day that we can practice calm abiding in just snippets of a minute or 5 minutes. The more frequently we build this into our everyday lives, the more we can be aware of our thoughts, of our interactions or outer actions, and really apply what we're practicing in meditation into how we go about our days. And that's really an important practice of why we meditate. And so, to bring our practice to a close, what is something that you are grateful for now? Invite you to say to yourself your intention again for this practice or for the coming full moon. Remember to whom or what you dedicated today's practice. And together, let's join our voices chanting Om 3 times. Bowing in, acknowledging the light within. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.